What it do, baby? What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Capo 167 bringing you another Outriders build video. And in this video, I present to you the budget build. Now let's get to it. Now, before we get started, I want to let you know what this build is. This build is for those individuals that are having trouble farming and pushing past certain challenge tiers. So this is going to be a all purple build, tier 1, tier 2. There's no legendaries. There are no tier 3 mods. There's none of that stuff in this build. This build is going to specifically be made so that way you can grind and you can possibly work your way up to CT15. Now, the primary weapon that I'm utilizing is the ECAB AR, the Blue Blood. This comes with weapon life leech, status power, and heal and receive. Now, what you may want to look for is possibly weapon life leech, skill life leech, status power, or close range damage. Those are some of the attributes that you're going to want to look for on this weapon. You're going to want it to be a tactical AR. Now, the mods that you're going to want it to come with is either Mark of the Stake or Death Chains. If you get one of those two, then you can roll the other on there, or you can farm until you get those mods, and then but once you get them, these are the two mods that you're going to want on the AR. Mark of the Stake, reloading weapon inflicts burn on enemies previously wounded by this weapon without charging it with a cooldown of 1 second. Now, basically all this means is you shoot, you reload, the enemy is burning. This is going to work two ways for you. One, the status effect is going to heal you, and it's also going to do damage to the enemy. Two things that you want. Now I know what you're saying, Capo, but this is a Devastator. Why do you want burn? Wait till I get to the gear set, so you're gonna see what mod I'll be using there that's gonna apply to the burn. Okay? But these are definitely the two mods that you're gonna want. The second one is Death Chains. Shots entangle an enemy with chains, dealing 193,000 damage over 3 seconds with a 2 seconds cooldown. So this is how this works. You're gonna shoot, you're going to reload, you're going to put burn on the enemy, and that burn is going to be doing damage along with Death Chain. My secondary weapon is the shotgun. This one is called the Nocturnal Cry. I really do not use it. I really don't pull it out and utilize it, but it has anomaly enhancement. I would recommend probably Death Chains or Mark of the Stake. Any of those three mods would be perfect on the shotgun. Now, as far as the pistol, I really don't use these either, but if you do, for whatever reason, have to use them, the three attributes again, well, 3 out of the 4 attributes again, which are close range damage, weapon life leech, skill life leech, and status power. And then the two mods you're going to want on this is Mark of the Stake, of course, for the burn, and I recommend Snow Squall. What this does is reloading the weapon inflict freeze on the enemies that were previously wounded without changing it with a 1 second cooldown. Same thing as Mark of the Stake, but this might help you so that way you can freeze the enemy, keep him in place. Now moving over to the gear, we have the Engine Liquidator Hood. Now with this, all your gear is going to come with anomaly power, cooldown reduction, status power. All of your gear. Those are the 3 attributes that you want on every single piece of gear. Now, I will tell you this. This is the way that I'm going to run it. I'm going to have mods in here that I prefer. I'm going to give you other options and other mods that you can utilize as far as skills also. But we're going to break this down in the way that I prefer to utilize it. But I will show you the other options that you have, just in case if you want more survivability or more anomaly damage. The headgear, I have Bloodshot and Earthquake. Bloodshot, it inflicts bleed on enemy damage by the skill. So every time I use Earthquake, I apply bleed on them. And then Extra Quake, that's pretty self-explanatory. I'll be utilizing an Extra Quake before it goes into cooldown. So now I have 2. On the upper armor, I once again have anomaly power, status power, cooldown reduction. The 2 mods that I'm utilizing is Humid Comet, which it increases the skill damage by 129,000 for the gravity leap, and Bloody Boost. Boost the damage against enemy afflicted with bleed by 15%. So any enemy that I apply bleed on, anything after that, I will do 15% more damage. So that's why I have the mod with the earthquake that applies bleed on them. That's going to apply the bleed. I do it once, apply bleed. I do it again. It's going to do 15% more damage on the second earthquake. So that's why I'm utilizing 2 earthquake, because it's pretty quick to get those 2 off. Moving down to the lower armor, I have River of Blood. It increases the skill damage by 50% to enemies afflicted with bleed. The second mod that I applied to it was Bullet Kindling. Deals 20% more damage against enemy afflicted by burn. So this is my rotation. I shoot, I reload. So now that enemy has Death Chain and burn. So the burn is giving Death Chain 20% more damage. So that 193,000 that the Death Chain is going to do in total is actually now increased by 20%. Not only that, while the enemy is burning, I hit them once with Earthquake. That first Earthquake is going to do 20% more damage, but that second Earthquake is not only going to do 20% damage, it's going to do an extra 15% more damage, because now that enemy has burn and bleed. So now we're stacking on these damages, and this is why this build right here will be a perfect grind for you when you're trying to get to that CT15 and trying to get these legendaries and tier 3 mods. Moving down to the gloves, the Space-Time Pioneers, I have Ground Crush on them, which will increase my skill-based damage by 84,000 on the Earthquake, and Earth Legacy, which increases the skill range by 60%. I constantly tell you all that this is a very important mod when you utilize an Earthquake. Some people feel like it's useless because it doesn't give you any more damage, but I promise you, this hits those enemies that may be a little bit too far out that you originally can't touch. And I'm going to tell you, when it applies the bleed on them, it helps you out tremendously, because after you kill what's in your AoE or what's around you, that enemy is down by half a health bar or even 25%. And it stops them, especially those marksmen, from trying to hit you or taking that shot that possibly would have killed you. Not only that, when you apply bleed on them, you're healing. So any status effect that you are applying to that enemy heals you. That's why that the burning and the bleeding is going to play a phenomenal and major part into your survivability, and you will see in the gameplay. And last but not least, my footwear. I'm utilizing Sharpened Spike. The skill deals 129,000 more damage. So yes, I'm using Impale, right? And then I also have Untamed Power. Using skills deal 44,000 damage to enemies within a 5-meter radius around you. The damage is equal to 30% of your anomaly power. As you can see, my anomaly power is 148k. 30% of that is 44,000. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you what other mods you can utilize that might help you in your playstyle. So here we're going to look into some other tier 1 and tier 2 mods that you can utilize. We can look at Golem. If you like utilizing Golem for the survivability portion because you feel like it gives you that protection that you may need, you can utilize Perseverance, which increases the skill duration. I would also recommend Resistance. When the skill is active, it increases your resistance by 33%. You have Golem of Death. When the skill is active, it extends its duration by 2 seconds for each enemy killed. Also, you have the Earthquake that does give you more armor. As you can see here, grants you 4,972 points of armor for every enemy affected by the skills. We have Gravity Leap, the life absorption, which heals for 15% of damage dealt. If your target dies, it heals for 30% of damage dealt. This is definitely a good one for survivability. Restoration, which the impaled enemy generates 5% more health regen. So these right here will help you with your survivability. Maybe you are able to hit more targets. So these are some of the other tier 1 mods that you can utilize. Now, as far as tier 2 mods that you can utilize Vampiric Mag. Healing shot of an enemy afflicted with bleed replenishes 50%. So you would have to kill that enemy with your gun, but Vampiric Mag is an option. Blood Potion is also a critical shot towards an enemy at close range afflicted with bleed. Increases your health regeneration. Thirst for Blood, killing an enemy with a weapon while they're afflicted with bleed increases your weapon leech by 40% for 10 seconds. This is some more survivability. If you're looking for more damage, you can utilize Bloodlust. I kind of wouldn't recommend it because at this point you're going to be moving up challenge tiers, and I feel like Bloodlust is going to be a little bit more for a firepower type build than what it really would be for a anomaly power build. Now, moving on to the skills. I'll be utilizing Earthquake that has a 6.4 second cooldown, Impale that has a 15.3 second cooldown, and Gravity Leap that has an 11.2 second cooldown. I'm utilizing these 3 skills because I'm trying to maximize the amount of damage that I'm putting out. That's why. There's another way for me to do it, and that's if I add Golem for more anomaly power and survivability, or I can add Reflect Bullets for a quicker cooldown on the increase of anomaly power, but we'll get to that when we get to the skill tree. Now here is where we get a little bit tricky. So we definitely want increased anomaly power. We're going to want the seismic cooldown since we're going to be utilizing the Earthquake and the Impale. We want the skill leech, of course, because anomaly build. We want the health regen from utilizing the skills. Plus, it's going to help with the survivability. More anomaly power here. Now, this is where you have your option. You can utilize Golem, so that way Paladin can proc, and what this is using a protection skill increases your anomaly power by 45%. If you utilize Golem, yes, you'll be able to get 45% more anomaly power. Plus, Golem gives you that extra survivability. And I understand that survivability is definitely going to be key in this build, especially as you're grinding and you're moving up in the challenge tiers with no legendary gear or tier 3 mods. So, yes, if you need more survivability, definitely utilize the Golem. But if you're going to utilize the Golem, I recommend you use Paladin so you can get that extra 45% anomaly power. I don't use it because I prefer, and in my playstyle, to utilize those 3 skills, which is the Earthquake, the Impale, and the Gravity Leap. But if you don't want to do it that way, and you think or you know that the anomaly power, the 45% more anomaly power is going to be way better, plus you're getting the protection from the Golem, then yes, by all means, utilize the Golem. Or you can utilize the Reflect Bullet that you will have a 4-second cooldown in between utilizing the Paladin. So all that will happen is you will initiate the Reflect Bullet, you will deactivate it, it will go into cooldown. 10 seconds out of that 14 seconds, you're going to have Paladin. You're going to have the increased anomaly power. You wait 4 seconds, and then you rotate that in again. If you want to do it that way, you can. But I'm giving you options. You can utilize it the way I like to utilize it, or you can utilize it however you would like to. After that, I'm going to go up top, and I'm going to get more resistance piercing, which is going to help me out more as far as damage-wise. More anomaly power. Down here, I chose to go with Anomaly Bullet because since I'm shooting my gun to apply the burn and the death chains, I wanted a little bit more firepower. So this increases my firepower by 15%. I decided to go this way, but it was, once again, my preference. If you want more survivability, you want to use Paladin, I would not recommend utilizing Anomaly Bullets. Definitely more seismic cooldown, more anomaly power, Executioner to increase my damage by 20% to any enemy below 30% of health. So more anomaly power. I'm going to utilize Bloodbath. The bleed inflicted on an enemy deals 30% more damage. Not only that, but anyone that does have bleed that will heal me for 25%. So I definitely want that. Rejuvenation, more skill life leech. Increase my armor by 40% of my anomaly power. Yes, because that's survivability. Definitely I would want that. Skill Sentry, I'm taking this because every time my skill ends, for 10 seconds after it ends, I'm going to have 20% more armor and 20% more resistance. That's survivability, definitely. I do want 15% more resistance piercing. I do want 30% more bleed damage, or damage that the bleed will be doing. And then definitely I want to increase my seismic skill base damage by 50%. Now, once again, this leaves me with two. This is where you have your options. You can go with Paladin. And if you do go with Paladin, I would recommend that you go with Unending Watch, because this reduces the cooldown on the Golem or the Reflect Bullet. And right now the Reflect Bullet is at a 14-second cooldown. So 15% of that might take it down to like 12 to 13 seconds. I'm going to let you know, a 2-second rotation of 45% more anomaly power, it's not a bad gig. I just don't utilize it in my build, but it is an option for you. So it might work for you. Don't brush it off. Like, think about it. You know, test it out. If it works for you, it works for you. What I did was I utilized the anomaly bullets and I gave my gravity leap some cooldown. This is how I utilized it. But if you utilize Paladin, obviously you will go with Upending Watch. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the build. This is the build with no legendary gear, no tier 3 mods. It was a pretty long breakdown, but I wanted to give you guys the options. I know how hard and how difficult it is to go from challenge tier 1 all the way to 15 with Devastator, especially not having a tier 3 mod or a legendary piece. So with this build right here, I hope that this will help you get to where you want to get, and that is tier 15. I promise you though, with what I've given you, it will work. It's going to be a grind because you're probably going to be stuck in that tier for maybe 1 or 2 tries, but once you continue to level up your gear, I promise you, you will complete the expedition with no problems. There you have it, the budget build. Please be sure to check me out on Twitch. The link will be in the description with the times that I'm usually live. You never know, I could be live right now answering any of your questions that you may have concerning this build. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. Please smash the like button and don't forget to subscribe so that way you'll stay up to date with all my upcoming build videos. And real soon, my next video will be the pyro builds, and you don't want to miss that. Have a good one, fam. I'm out. Now, during this gameplay, this is a challenge tier 14, and I do end up getting silver. But the idea of this build is so you can continuously grind to upper level where you will start receiving legendary gear. You'll be able to go challenge tier 10, 11, 12, 13, and possibly 14. I just need to move faster, but the damage is there, so that way you'll be able to kill Malik. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. Have a good one.
pods. Clearly it's landed on the insurgents. Shit. That freak I fought last time? The one who nearly buried me alive?
Am I gonna have to dig you out of the rubble again?
Not this time. He's sung his last.
Outrider
And the
detected.
pod's ours.
Access granted.
Great! Then, out of curiosity, can you explain to me why that pod didn't...